Hello, today we will unveil one of the most fascinating and, at times, painful paradoxes of human existence, the invisible weight of expectations. Have you ever felt trapped, as if a part of you wanted to scream something, but the other insisted on remaining silent? Or perhaps you've observed how certain social pressures, silent but relentless, seem to draw a predefined map for who we should be, just by being born male or female. In this video, we will delve into the depths of social psychology and everyday philosophy. We will explore how the roles that society imposes on us and the contradictions that arise within our own minds create a complex dance that shapes our lives, influences our most intimate relationships, and, yes, affects even our own perception of happiness. Prepare for an intimate look at the invisible strings that, without our knowing, move our steps. Together, we will seek to understand the true power of your own consciousness. Because sometimes genuine freedom lies not in breaking visible chains, but in understanding those we carry within. Childhood and the first strokes of the social script. From our first babbling, we are receptive beings. We absorb, almost by osmosis, the messages the world sends us. Boys don't cry, girls are delicate. In the schoolyard, the cry of a fallen boy is stifled by a "don't cry, you're a man," while a girl who shows leadership in a game might be seen as bossy, not decisive. These are not just isolated phrases, they are the first brushstrokes of the social roles that are expected of us. Social role theory, proposed by thinkers like Alice Eagly, suggests that observable behavioral differences between men and women largely derive from social attributions and cultural expectations, rather than purely from biology. Think about it. A boy receives a building kit and is praised for his strength in assembling something. A girl with a doll in her hands learns about care and empathy. These are the seeds of our social identities. We learn by observing adults, imitating their behaviors, being reinforced when we fit the script, and, at times, subtly corrected or disapproved when we deviate. The invisible weight begins to form, like an almost imperceptible armor built piece by piece around our nascent, more authentic identity. Cognitive dissonance, the echo of the inner scream. But what happens when that armor, so carefully constructed, starts to tighten? When the soul expands and demands more space than the mold allows? This is where cognitive dissonance comes into play, a concept brilliantly explored by Leon Festinger. Imagine for a moment, a young executive, always impeccable, taught from an early age that a real man doesn't show weakness. He achieves enviable success, but, in secret, struggles with deep anxiety and insomnia. He believes that men must be invulnerable and have everything under control. But his internal reality is one of exhaustion and profound vulnerability. This abyssal contradiction generates immense discomfort, a feeling of self-betrayal. Or think of a woman raised with the expectation of being the emotional pillar of the family, always available, always smiling. Deep down, she yearns for an ambitious career, for personal projects that demand total time and dedication. Her behavior of selfless sacrifice directly clashes with her deep desire for creative autonomy. This tension, this internal pressure, this echo of the inner scream, is cognitive dissonance. It is the mental discomfort that arises when our beliefs do not align with our actions, with other thoughts, or with our deepest truth. Social masks and the invisible price. And what do we do to alleviate this uncomfortable pressure? We seek refuges, defense mechanisms. We might justify our behavior, even if deep down we don't feel it's genuine. The executive would say, "I'm being strong for my family, for my future," ignoring the real cost to his mental health. The woman might think, "My family is the most important thing now. My dreams can wait," subtly shifting her priorities to fit the imposed script. Thus, without realizing it, we build masks, not so much to deceive others, but to deceive ourselves. And in doing so, alleviate the sting of dissonance. We pretend the weight doesn't exist, that the armor is comfortable. But this act of self-deception comes at an invisible price. The disconnection from our true selves grows with each passing day. Authenticity fades into a sea of expectations. The invisible weight becomes heavier, not only due to external demands, but also due to the exhausting internal struggle we try to silence. The awakening of consciousness and authentic freedom. But there is a turning point. Philosophy and psychology, with their ancient wisdom and profound insights, invite us to an act of supreme courage. Recognize the dissonance Accept that life is not linear, that we are multifaceted beings and at times contradictory, that our deepest beliefs, our most profound desires, and society's expectations can, and often will, collide. It is in this courageous recognition that true liberation begins, when that man, once a prisoner of invulnerability, allows himself to feel his pain and seeks help, not despite what he was taught, but because of his desire to live fully. When that woman, once confined to the role of caregiver, embraces her ambition, redefines what it means to care, and flourishes in her authenticity, without ceasing to be who she truly is. Freedom does not reside in blind rebellion against everything around us, but rather in finding the subtle and dynamic balance, in understanding that social roles are indeed human constructs, and that we can choose how to inhabit them, or whether to inhabit them at all. We can, with consciousness, sculpt our own path, instead of merely following a predefined script. True strength is not in never feeling pain or vulnerability, but in feeling them and, even so, moving forward, seeking, transforming. True fulfillment is not in fitting into a mold, but in being, with courage and compassion, the most authentic version of oneself. The invisible weight of social roles and complex mental contradictions accompanies us all, men and women. But by understanding the roots and workings of cognitive dissonance and social role theory, we can take the first steps to lighten that burden, to shed masks, and finally, to live with deeper authenticity. And you? Have you ever felt this invisible weight? Do you recognize any contradiction in your own life or in the expectations society imposes? Leave your comments below. We love reading your perspectives, your experiences, and learning together on this journey of self-knowledge. Your voice is very important to us. If this reflection touched your mind and heart, don't forget to subscribe to the channel to continue exploring the depths of psychology and philosophy that shape our daily lives. Hit the bell icon so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. And please tell us where you're listening from. It's always inspiring to connect with curious minds from all over the world. Thank you very much for joining us on this profound journey of self-knowledge. Until the next reflection.